For you, who are about to embark on a new voyage, Airports of Rome has decided to bestow upon you a gift. Stop, if you will, and listen. A short audio tale about the soul of the city you're about to visit. It's hard to summarize the spirit of a place in just a few minutes, but we've made a humble attempt. Enjoy the pleasure of discovery. Palermo's soul is in its fragrance, that which the Sicilians call ciauru. Sicily is the birthplace of Nobel Prize-winning authors, such as Luigi Pirandello and Salvatore Quasimodo. It's also the birthplace of Italian poetry. Back in the 13th century, at the court of Frederick II, King of Sicily, this land has been a melting pot for several cultures: the Greeks, the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, and the Arabs. The fragrance of sea salt and seaweed, of the city beach of Mondello, lying between Mount Gallo and Mount Pellegrino, setting of the celebrated 1963 film with Burt Lancaster, The Leopard. The fragrance of jasmine and orange blossom in the streets. The fragrance of lemons in the gardens and of olive oil at the tables. The fragrance of the port, of fish, of mussels, of octopus all across the market of Vucciria. The fragrance of fresh bread at dawn and at night. The fragrance of fried dough, of rice balls, of croquettes. The fragrance of freshly ground coffee. The fragrance of cakes, of cannolis and cassata cakes. The history of Palermo reminds us of the fragrance of gunpowder, such as during the conquest by the House of Anjou, or when the Holy Inquisition would execute heretics in Piazza Marina Square, and also the fragrance of fresh laundry, of white sheets hanging from the balconies in protest against the many white sheets covering the dead, victims of the mafia, of the mass killings, of the silence of politicians. This is the Sicily portrayed in the photographs of Letizia Battaglia, the Sicily of citizen dissent. The airport reminds you of Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, two judges killed by that same mafia that they dedicated their lives to fighting. And this is the fragrance of the Academy Awards and the 1989 Oscar for Cinema Paradiso by the Sicilian director Giuseppe Tornatore. Sicily goes hand in hand with the movies, perhaps falling all too often into stereotype. But this tradition goes back to the Lumiere brothers even, who in 1897 brought their invention to the Garibaldi Theatre of Palermo, not more than a year from their first exhibition at the Grand Café des Boulevards des Capucines in Paris. Goethe, the German writer, said that who sees the sky of Palermo once can never forget it. Oscar Wilde celebrated the cityscape as the most beautiful in the world, and said of the youth of the city that they appeared to be of both Greek and Arab descent, like sculptures walking about in the open air. Italian writer Dacia Maraini warns that the beauty of Palermo is more than just aesthetic. It brings about reflection. After all, the island of Sicily gave birth to scientists and philosophers. Archimedes, Empedocles, Gorgias. Plato traveled here often. Italian journalist Leonardo Sciascia said that Sicily is where historical periods overlap. And this is overtly clear in the novels of Verga and Camilleri. Palermo is a city lying between the sacred and the profane, between the Norman and Arab cathedral and the sea, searching for religious and secular relics among the buildings and alleyways, where everything is liturgical. Books are full of tales about Sicily, starting from the tale of Ulysses himself, who traversed the Aeolian Islands, the Strait of Messina, and sailed directly into the cave of the Cyclops Polyphemus, which is believed to be in the town of Milazzo. Here, the strongest fragrance was that of freedom. The story you have just listened to was produced by the Airports of Rome in collaboration with Cora Media, working together to promote culture and entertainment at the Leonardo da Vinci Airport in Fiumicino, Rome.